Hello? Stream? Elden Ring? Do you want to show yourself? I can tweet out announcements. You're not getting... Seems like noise is there. 1 second, chat. Alright, we're gonna quit out. Yeah, stop running. There we go. Hey Xavier, hey John, hey I am. 1 second, we're just trying to get all this working. Darkness within darkness awaits you, Loki. Alrighty, let's see. Well, I see the mouse, so that's good. There we go, okay. I don't know what happened there. Let's get it all set up now. Okay, I think we're all set. I think. I made a somewhat decent amount of notes since last time. Don't know how much of it is useful, though. You never know how much stuff is useful until you go through it, Xavier. That's the point. Even when you find out there was nothing really useful in that, it's useful. Because now you know that there's nothing useful. So it all works out in the end. Oh no, it's the strip trip. Let's see. Let's quickly check here, because I want to check around where the demi-human ruins are. Just felt like abusing that dog, don't mind me. Now, I may have already looted stuff here, I actually don't remember. Let's just assume I'm just here. For the first time. No, yeah, I've been here before we looted this guy. I was like, I do vaguely recall looting some dude over in the camp. I don't know why I remember that, considering I can't remember anything else for the life of me. Can't remember what item he had, oh well. How are you? Red leaf flower, Captain. Here's a question, chat. When did that wooden bridge over there get built? What did you guys? More early flowers, right? Because depending on when that bridge, that suspension bridge there was built. I do find that funny. Because we're so close to that. The approach up here during Godfrey's day may have been go to the ruins and then climb that way. And then the bridge was added later, you know? Yeah, that's where I want to check out. Ow. Oh. Yeah, I know you got all that dex and crap. But pardon me. Yeah, I don't care about you. Oh, for Scarlet Rot? Whoopsie. I don't got any Scarlet Rot for you. There we go. Ah, what do you know? We got dots of these. Got some root resin. Hey! Don't you do freeze on me, game. I don't even know what you were doing. Yeah, so these golden flowers are just scattered around here. There we go. Problem solved. Go up here. The churches that have golden centipedes are Church of Pilgrimage, Bellum Church, and Minor Erdtree Church. Erdtree Church is filled with the small flowers, but doesn't have the big golden flowers. Now here we have the mix. How about outside of here? Oh, that hurt. Interesting how this grave's a little far away from compared to the others. Yeah, seeing different flowers here. So let's see, 3 churches with golden centipedes, huh? Bellum, Minor Erdtree, and Church of Pilgrimage. So here. Minor Erdtree we could factor out. We can filter out as just saying, oh yeah, look, there's a bit of flowers outside the immediate church interior. That's cool to know. To be honest, they probably placed it down before they put the church model or something. Anyway. So the Minor Erdtree Church we can filter out can just say, oh, it's part of America's research into Golden Order, so those are there. But the fact that we only otherwise find them at the Bellum Church and this Pilgrimage Church makes me think that may have been where the pilgrimage started and ended. So you start at Bellum. Oh! Oh! Wait, that makes sense! So you start at Bellum, the first major conflict that Radigan distinguishes himself, and then you end here, where he reunites with Marika before becoming her husband and becoming Elden Lord. Oh! Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And a great way to promote Golden Order fundamentalism that way, too. So then you have the centipedes there. Okay. Very good indeed. I'm not sure that fully explains the graveyard here. We have a pretty sizable graveyard next to this church. Again, this can't be the Godfrey War stuff, because one, the churches, again, they have all the flower-topped graves here, overwhelmingly. So it seems like this is a really disproportionate amount of, you know, Godfrey's army that are being buried, instead of just being both Godfrey and maybe some enemy forces from, like, the Tower of Return over in the corner there. In fact, if I remember rightly, doesn't Tower of Return have a... Yeah, there's this here, huh? I gotta remember to mark that in my Godfrey analysis. I completely forgot about the Coffin Cemetery here. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that graveyard. We have a bandit buried here, and we have 2 militiamen. Now, again, the militiamen could just be stand-ins for generic skeleton boy, because it seems like they don't want to use like the skeletons we find in catacombs with like the, you know, basic skeletons. That seems to be pretty consistent with these graveyards. So it could just be that they're just standing for generic stuff. The bandit, though, might be indicating it's supposed to be citizenry. In general. I don't know. There's also the fact that we have some of the Godfrey's Tarnish Hunt stuff here. So it could be something more. Hey, Elders! Graveyard was for life insurance fraud. Pass it on. John kicks Bug is a Banished Knight. Pass it on. Oh, do you see my post in Discord about the fact that using the rune items gives the same purple crystal particles as the trees you leave when you die? The remembrances don't give these particles. Yes, I saw that. It's very interesting. It more or less confirms to us then that this is in fact a product of the runes. It's not some outside force or something. There is some sort of crystals. Now, I don't know if it's an idea of like the crystals are like, I don't know, the gold leaves the runes shards and they become that like hollow kind of purpley clear color. Don't know. Let's go this way. 100% life insurance fraud. Again, we see more of the same flowers. So yeah, these flowers have to be because of the minor herb tree. It's just too consistent where they're in the vicinity of. Interesting how the game doesn't actually have the lightning occur here until we actually go down, huh? I assume it's just a loading thing for the event, but I just do find it that interesting that it doesn't account for verticality. It'd be funny if I could jump around up here and immediately get struck by lightning. We got Banished Knights in the chat! All of them wanting to complain about how they were kicked out from their manor. They're very spiteful. They're happy to see someone who might stick it to the Golden Order. Yesterday I was reading the item description and comparing them with your translation. I have to say the localization is decent in ER. Yeah, that's exactly my my feeling. Again, most translators that I've talked to for Elden Ring generally have the same sentiment as me, where it's like, hey, we're asked to look at an item. We look at the item, and it basically says what it says it says. Ain't that a weird thought, you know? A translation that actually accurately reflects what the original source text is. There are definitely like dips. Like for example, I don't think a lot of the America dialogue bits are translated that well. I feel that's so. I think probably item descriptions fared better than dialogue, like overall. But I think it's still probably mostly fine. Like I said, it's not like every translation bit is a frickin' Ronnie, where it's like, oh no, the Ronnie ending is all wrong. Alright, I want to know, why do you got great dragonfly heads, Mr. Tarnished? Who the hell is carrying a bunch of heads like that? I don't understand this. Truly. Wait. Did you just do? Wait. Did you just do some sort of buff? I didn't see it. I honestly can't tell. Alright, so we're gonna go up here real quick. Excuse me. Oh. Well. Yep. That's what I thought. Second Church of America and Stormcaller Church has golden vines. Stormcaller Church also has harvestable gravelstone surrounding the deal. Well, yeah, that makes sense though because of the Ancient Dragon War on that plateau area. We'll try the Stake of America? Question mark. First Church of America and the Church of Repose has only big flowers, no little ones, and they are not mostly localized to the dew. Perhaps only the big ones could survive the snow. For the Church of Repose? Yeah, maybe. The thing is, the Church of Repose was built, well, because America was involved in the repose, quote-unquote, of the giants. I guess you could also say it's her handling the burial of everybody, but... only the big golden flowers. It also doesn't explain necessarily the First Church of America. What's up? Oh, no, wait. First Church of America, never mind. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought the Fourth Church of America was the First Church of America. My brain. Okay, yeah, so both of them are in the mountaintop, so they're both in the snow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, actually. The bigger flowers could survive, and the smaller ones couldn't. Okay, so there's just this, which takes us to Langdell. Oh, okay. I want to check something, because I remember someone saying that the, I remember someone telling me that the... Yeah, go away. That the golem here is bigger than the others. Now, every church is big, deep lore, lol. Well, yeah, there's lore to everything. Alright, so we're back at Fortified Manor. You know what? I probably knew this already, chat, but I completely forgot. I didn't realize this bridge connects not to the sealed tower, where is it? Here? But to the tower all the way over here. That's kind of crazy to me. But it makes sense. It might also explain how the Banished Knights from Far Missoula got to the plateau here in the first place. Because it may be like Altus, where there's the cathedral, there's America's bedchamber, there's the arena, there's our fortified manor. Yeah, I don't know, Chad. He doesn't look like he's bigger than the others. I don't think so, at least. But yeah, now this makes sense to me. Because for some reason I was thinking it's the sealed tower, and I didn't even, like, give much thought to this. But now I'm like, oh, wait a second. This bridge led all the way... Yeah, the weird part is that it has to somehow lead past here. This tower, like, it just ignores this tower, but this bridge goes all the way over to the tower where Melania is. Hence why they built the gate here. There are some towers with a bridge and some not, yeah. I've also thought about... Actually, I can show it off. Okay. Out of curiosity... Yeah, I don't know, chat. Is he bigger? know, Chad. He seems like he's pretty normal sized. He's more tanky, though. Got that. I can agree. He's quite the tanky boy. I actually wonder, is he as tanky as the ones outside Lingdell, like in the capital outskirts? Because I wonder if they like copy pasted the enemy from there, or at least the stats, I should say. I'm not sure if the ones. We'll check what's in this chest in a second. This poor man. This poor giant. I should say these poor lava slugs that are piloting this thing. This was this simple with my sorcerer. Probably not. I'm just gonna say I find this hilarious. There we go. Now everything's right in the world. Not sure that was supposed to happen. I think getting a screenshot of him comparing him to the others might help. Well, I have the stream, so I can always take a screenshot then. And then we can check. But yeah, it doesn't feel like he's bigger. Feels about the right size. Blessed Dew Talisman. So this has to do with the... Blessed Dew Talisman has to do with the Age of Plenty, right? Why would that be stored up here? Are they trying to say this bridge was destroyed during the Age of Plenty? To prevent a connection between Far Missoula and Lingdell? Maybe? That might be the intention. There was someone here during the Age of Plenty that this was done. That would make sense, because you have to build the ramparts and shit, and I don't think they're building the ramparts when they have a full, complete bridge that they haven't destroyed yet, right? Oh, what do you know? There's a little bit of damage there, though. Ramparts aren't perfect. Ah, but there's some damage there, too. I wonder if there's damage along all the ramparts. Wow, look at the awful texture for the behind of the fortified manor. Lazy. He's no laser golem, that's for sure, isn't it? Frickin' laser golem. Here's what I noticed. The sarcophagi on the surface that you find have no corpses in the mountain slash snowfield, but the ones outside there, they're cracked open, have visible corpses within. Really? Let's check the one down here then. Oh. Oh. I forgot. Sorry, chat. I forgot how this works. There we go. Lazy developers' oversight. FromSoftware should be ashamed. Well, yeah. How could they be so lazy with us, chat? Oh my god, you're right, Xavier. There are corpses in here. That is so weird. I've never noticed that. I always thought they were empty. It was just the runes they put in there, because why bother putting the corpse model in there? I guess someone at FromSoftware was feeling particularly ambitious that day. But yeah, I need to mention this in my analysis. Oh, what do you know? Look at that. There's a coffin cemetery below below the tower. Below the cliff top tower. Okay, man, are there any items that I could possibly look at? No? Okay, moving on. Visual imperfection, terrible game. I haven't checked them all, but that's the general pattern I notice. None in the mountains, though. But the mountain ones still have their... Wait, are these the same flowers we see? 1 second. 1 second, chat. Can't tell if those are the same flowers we saw earlier. Alright, so these are all people from Shipwreck based on all the wreckage here. Where's the giant conga line? Actually, first let's go here. Anything here? Yeah, I'll just the isolation check. Let me double check. What do you... Yeah, sure. Oh, no. Zweihander... I mean, the only thing this kind of might connect to the relevant stuff is, like, there's a lot of Germanic associations with the Banished Knights. So maybe that's the idea of a Zweihander being put with this merchant, but other than that, I honestly don't think it's anything special. It just tells you, oh, war. Yeah. Bolts. Ballista bolts. I mean, I guess I can mention this in my analysis. Have
a safe journey.
Wing Misbegotten seem to be using Stormhawk feathers as arrows. The feathers seem to have the same texture as the feathers of Storm Wing Bow and Arrow, which are Stormhawk feathers. That makes sense because, again, they are at least the ones we meet. Are there any Winged Misbegotten in Lanedell? I don't think so. There may be in the Forlorn Cave. I don't remember exactly. There we go. Thank you. But it makes sense in the other locations, because I know there's some at that camp we talked about, and that camp has Banished Knights who are dead, so it makes sense. Okay, we kill the Banished Knights, or whatever Stormhawks were with them, and we take their feathers and make arrows, right? That makes sense, and obviously here, the Misbegotten here, same deal. There's the conga line. Golden Room. I'm gonna have 99 of these things, Chad, and the rest will go into storage. No, these are different flowers. Okay. I'm pretty sure these are different flowers. Because that was like a healthy mix of different flowers, and it wasn't the big ones, that's for sure. So yeah, these are different stuff. It seems those are probably just generic, regular yellow flowers. Nothing special there. There's a winged misbegotten in Langdale. Okay, so they are there. That one makes it harder to justify then, because, well, okay. For those that haven't read my Godfrey doc, my conclusion about the winged misbegotten is that they are banished knights. Well, they're part of the banished knights, or I should say, the ones at the fortified manor, who, in their desperation to stop Horalu, they went to try to draw directly on the power of the Crucible, but in coming in contact with the Crucible, the overwhelming life energy flowed into them and, well, transformed them into, well, misbegotten. The hybrids, as the Japanese name is. And these hybrids, of course, still lost, along with the other banished knights. And those that refused to bow their heads were banished with the banished knights to Stormvale as part of the penal colony thing. Hence why we find them down here in the frontier nowadays. When they're later enslaved, of course. And then the ones who did agree to bow their heads were allowed to keep their culture just because they had, they're kind of given special privileges because they look, they have the holy visual of the Crucible. So it's like, hey, you were punished, but, your punishment's done, and you still look like, you still have the appearance of something sacred. So we'll keep you alive, and we'll look the other way with your whole pagan practices, right? Hence why they have the pagan grave still there. So all that is where I'm standing on Misbegotten. So you could make the case that the ones in Langdell maybe have like Stormhawk feathers left over from their old days, and they're using those. That's the best I got, though. Neidhardt is a banished knight. Yeah, Neidhardt's got a pretty epic story if you read the Morn Siege section of my stuff. I actually think that Miyazaki may have done a cool bit of subtle storytelling. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something like Martin wrote in his whole golden lineage, like, background stuff with Godfrey and all that. And Miyazaki was like, well, we can't really like fit this like little side story in here. So I'll just put like one reference to him and let the environmental storytelling do the rest. If I'm right, that is pretty cool. I guess we'll never know unless Miyazaki comes out with Martin stuff, and we all know that's not happening. I'll believe! Yeah, no, these are different flowers entirely. Makes sense. That Misbegotten has that super Golden Order sword. Yeah, so the Forlorn stuff seems to be that after Golden Order fundamentalism gets established and Misbegotten start being enslaved, we see how, like, at least the Leonine Misbegotten, who takes the Golden Order sword, seems to at the very least try to embrace fundamentalism, which seems to be why him and the Misbegotten who follow him seem to be, what's the word? It seems to be the reason that these Misbegotten essentially aren't being accepted by either Mikola or Langdell, right? Like, Langdell doesn't accept them because they're corruption, right? They're corrupted. But Mikola doesn't accept them either because it's like, hey, you follow Golden Order fundamentalism? We don't do that here in unallied gold territory. We need pure gold, and you're not being pure. So basically, they're considered impure. One way or the other, ironically, right? So they end up having to just squat in the cave between them. They have nowhere else in the world to belong. Neidhardt is a nerd with no drip, even though I don't know who he was. Neidhardt was a banished knight, pass it on. For those that are actually serious, again, it's covered in my doc, but he's the inventor of the barricade shield spell. Which the Japanese more so means like impregnable shield, though impregnable, it has to be understood, impregnable is like an idiomatic meaning. The term literally means like iron wall stuff, right? But the idea is that, oh, okay, he invented a spell for like the ultimate protection, especially in evoking the idea of making a wall as strong as iron, so that way it won't fall, right? Where do we find it? From a knight. Where do we? I should say, where do we acquire it? From the knight cavalry patrolling the giant rampart to Morn Castle. Also, it's also the skill of the Great Turtle Shield, which we can find atop the rampart. Conveniently. Yeah, so it seems like he was either a soldier who was either he distinguished himself upon this rampart, or he was the commander put in charge of it. Either way, he seems to have invented a skill in order to help resist Godfrey's army. And I think that's why this is still never been repaired. Because, like, we're not going to claim, like, I don't think anyone's going to claim, like, Misbegotten felled this entire wall, especially when Arena and company have to go through here, right? So it seems to be just a matter of, Godfrey, never had this wall repaired, probably because he respected Neidhardt as being, there would be no man who could better protect these walls and keep them from falling than Neidhardt, so why bother? We'll respect him, we'll respect him here, speaking of. There we go, the Great Turtle Shield. And the reason why, besides the location, which would tie, of course, Neidhardt to the Banished Knights with all these Banished Knight equipment and all that, there's also the... Ooh, Warming Steel. Yes. There's also the graphic on the barricade shield, Ash of War, which shows the kite shield, which is a shield you acquire from the merchant in Liurnia over here. Again, it portrays a bird holding a sword. Again, the guy also has sorcerer stuff, which makes sense because Lascar. And then you have right next to Stormveil. So again, it's very obvious that the kite shield is a Stormveil, has a crest related to Stormveil. Birds with swords, what will they think up next? Unalloy or no alloy? That's funny. The Tombsword Cave has some flowers I don't think I've seen before in the Miranda Flower boss room. We'll check that out then, because we haven't checked out that cave. Loki, I assume you studied Japanese in post-secondary or took linguistics in some capacity? I don't know, I haven't read your biography yet, but I would. I don't have a biography or anything on me, no. But in terms of my studies, I'm mostly self-taught. Mostly did it independently. I never took like a Japanese in like schooling or anything like that. Which again, I've said before when people have asked me, I do recommend it just because there's probably a lot of roadblocks for me. It would have been a lot easier if I just had someone who said, okay, here's how it works, instead of me trying to have to like pick it up and figure it out kind of on my own. Lot of pain and suffering. I know that the cave's around here somewhere. But where? That's the question. Okay. So yeah. I mean, I'm always learning. There's always new stuff to learn in any language. Japanese included. I mean, there's some stuff that FromSoftware games even tell me. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that term before. That's good to know, right? Or I've never, at least I'm like, oh, I learned something about the cultural context behind that term because I'm trying to understand like the deeper meanings or whatever, right? So I wouldn't ever say like it's like, ah, yes, I am the 100% expert. I knew. Oh, there is in Japan. No, still a lot more Nippon to discover. Okay, am I crazy, chat? Oh, there's the cave. That's why I'm just on the wrong level. Like, this cave is here. I know it. After the Dragon Temple rooftop farm as well, there are flowers which you can also find the same ones around Stormhill and the Bestial Sanctum. Around Storm Hill, huh? That's an interesting detail. That's very useful to know, considering we see a connection between the Stormhawks and Bar Missoula. So yeah, that's really good information. Yeah, Xavier, keep it coming. You're getting some good data here. And that stuff can actually be useful in helping us with adding more evidence to connect things together. Oh well. Don't care about you. Oh no. Oh, the finger calling shit. Okay. I don't see anything else worth looking. Oh no, I'm poison. Whatever will I do? Poison bang darts. Not exactly my idea of a good time. One nice thing about being poison, chat, you don't have to care about when they're trying to poison you. There we go. Oh, right. Okay, ready to go. There we go. Oh. I'm supposedly dead. Okay, that was awkward. Schiefer Riverwell has normal torches lighting the elevator shaft, while Deep Shiofra Well has blue candles lighting the shaft. I can't check the Deep Ansel Well, unfortunately. That is curious. That might go with our idea that depending on how consistently that is for the other wells, it's possible. Yeah, okay, so it's entirely possible, chat, that those torches are meant to indicate how Aoheed, which again, my theory is Miss Wood is Aoheed. Or I should say, sorry, I can't say it. I haven't drinking enough glasses of water to be able to try to pronounce that with all that, like, phlegm in the back of the throat. Anyway. But it's quite possible that those torches are meant to represent how they've been the ones who've been using it going down there. Ow. Beans. Oh no! You're trying to poison me! Whatever will I do? Man, I wanted to do this with my sorcerer so often. Ow. Poor Miranda. Also, are those teeth in that? Oh my god, those kind of look like teeth. I'm not gonna lie. Ow. Frame. Almost there, chat. Almost free. Yeah, those flowers, I don't recognize them looking at them right now. It's like, huh. You're new. Where else do we want to go? I guess it doesn't matter. Let me double check something here. Bonky Flowers was never more fun. Very true, Vincent. Evening. Become part of the Team Elden Ring now. That'll never happen. I don't think they want me. The power of abusing iframes. I know I am. It's the best. Yellow embers. Yeah, we got our winged boy kind of waiting here. Although one of them's kind of... one of them's looking a little dead. Yeah, they got a dead model here. Oh, he's not dead. He's just asleep. He just sleeps really weird. Get large club now. The Church of Dragon King has gray flowers I haven't seen anywhere else yet. Oh. Well, to get to Church of Dragon King, I have to beat the double, what's it called? Demi-humans, and that ain't happening right now. I'm not beating those two chiefs, Chief. Oh. Oh, this is gonna hurt. More bonk. Drink water and do a T-pose while drinking Elden Ring. Actually, I think I forgot to get myself water, chat. Oopsie. If they don't want Loki on Team Elden Ring, they must want to burnt thatch roof cottages. Permanate them. Let's see. Wait. Where are all my runes? Yeah, they are. Okay, they're over in that corner. That's why I couldn't see them. Eye of Yellow, which is strangely red. I think there was a point when all that stuff was actually red, right? They probably just didn't bother changing the model here in typical FromSoft fashion. Oh. Now this, though, these are the flowers we find around the minor tree. But these aren't. These are normal flowers. Okay, I'm starting to distinguish them. I'm starting to notice the differences. So one's like natural flowers that are yellow, others are specifically Erd Tree related. Again, would be great stuff to have put through an algorithm that detects all items, objects, etc., and then pinpoints it all on the map. That way we'll never struggle to figure it out again. only big flowers. Yeah, you know, actually I remember that because we talked about that last time. Yeah, okay. I got to Ruan. Great job, I am. Have fun. Oh. Oh no, this is clipping tree. Gotcha. Oh, bah. The dogs in Ripewood Ruins drop sacramental buds. You can even see a dog eating one of the plants. I said earlier maybe the small flowers come from the falling leaves of the minor Erd tree. Yeah, it could be possible. But I don't think that makes sense in cases where there's mixture, so I don't know if it's specifically that. I guess it could just be weaker power of the Erd tree in general, hence why we have a mix of both big and small flowers, right? So some of them, like, oh yeah, some of the drops of dew are more potent than others, I guess. Or you get a mixture of both. Nothing too crazy so far. I know, chat. Does this look bigger? I don't know. Also, you talked about missing a quest. Just know in the future, always check the board whenever before you do anything. Anything story related, at least. Always check the board. They'll try to get you. They'll be like, it's time to leave the city and move on. Well, you didn't check the board, did you? You had one special little side quest you could have done. Squirmtaller Church is filled with the little flowers outside the deal, but the second Church America doesn't have any outside the deal. And that is all my notes. Good to know. If you want, you can always repost those on Elden Ring or something. But yeah, that was good data, Xavier. Keep it up. Man is praying to the ocean with an artillery. What? Yeah, this is hell. Also, you're a spirit. Why are you poisoning me with your stuff? Alright, I have no idea where it is then. Ah, there you are. Poison Mist Wishharker, okay. You done? I'm about to die. Well, it was nice knowing you. I figured there are side quests because I'm being intrigued by the main story and the narrative is trying to present lol. But you gotta do the side quests because then you can enjoy the side narratives the game is trying to present. But yeah, I don't blame you. It's plot slowly creeps up on you. here? Oh, item back here, chat. Yeah, there was. Thank you. Dismiss. Alright. They checked out any of the good stuff that might have been there. I don't think I missed any major corpses, at least, that might have affected my perception. Let me double check. What else do you have to sale? Wait, what flowers were those around the sword monument? I don't know, Xavier. Let me double check. I wasn't paying attention to the sword monument. Let me double check what you got first. Oh. Or honestly, I'm not going to mention them in my analysis. This is all generic stuff. This could all be shattering stuff for all I know, especially. The cape covering the shoulders is made with treated rock lizard skin. We don't find any rock lizards in this game, do we? I don't think so. Honestly, this is probably stuff from outside Lands Between. I'm not surprised that this is supposed to represent the people who are coming from this side of the, kind of like how there's a bunch of eastern stuff on the eastern side in Caelid. Red Thorn Shield. It boosts fire damage negation. I don't recall, chat. When are red thorns associated with fire damage negation? I'm thinking of the Briar sorceries. But those aren't on fire or anything, are they? Anyway, I'm not seeing anything interesting lore-wise except for this. Which I already mentioned in the doc. Yeah, I should get the grace point while we're there. Same flowers, but red instead of yellow. Good to know. Well, I feel bad for that tree. Alright, those are the same generic flowers I was looking at earlier, Xavier. The generic yellow flowers we find, but these are red. So yeah, nothing different. It's what you find all across this plain area. Ow. Ow! I was afraid of that. Alright, let me double check this real quick. Ah! There's the Erd Tree! There it is, chat. You can't hide from me. I see that Erd Tree relief there. Look at how it awkwardly clips against the wooden stuff they like. And now that I'm looking, all that clips awfully. Like, what the heck was even the plan with putting the wood thing? Like, why? Why is it there? And look, there it is still. Yep, there we go. Oh. I clearly didn't look at these castles hard enough when I was first doing this, because I keep on being like, oh, I don't remember if that was there or not. Let me double check. And then I find it. Loki is deflowering the lands. I don't know about that. First Albinoric genocide, now flower genocide. Listen. Listen. The Flora had it coming. You saw what she did to me in Bloodborne. Study hall over there. We have hell over there. Might switch over to my other character. Again, more generic flowers. That's neat. There's a highway road to this church. That's uncommon, to say the least. Starts about here. Now there's our favorite. Yeah, our favorite flowers. Some big flowers, some small. I do like how these big and small flowers are coalescing around the grace here. That's funny. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if this is where a pilgrimage started. So you take the pilgrimage, you go down the highway, then you take it here, go down the highway all the way here, all the way down here, and then you ended your pilgrimage here. And then you could, I guess, get buried, either in the Tombs Ward or probably more likely here at the church. I guess in case, like, you traveled this far and now it's time to die. Parts of this church have collapsed. Interesting. This is a formal staircase, though. So this was intentional. Did it lead anywhere? Not really. Unless... Hey man, what do you got? What do you selling?
I don't want any trouble.
Yeah, sure. White cured meat, so just meats. Bewitching branch related to Mikola. That tells us Mikola was probably here at this church, which again makes sense considering what he's done with his dad. Bone arrows, generic stuff, composite bow, rift shield. That has to do with the frenzied flame stuff further up. Forest and river.
All done? Well.
Duh. River. forests. Yes, that's not shocking. This is always the precipice ruins. There's also a tunnel here, I think. No, the tunnel's over there. This is just the burial thing for the First Learning War. Yeah, nothing pointing out here. Nothing worth mentioning here. The bottom entrance is weird. Yeah, it is the more I'm looking at it, John. Because the only real connection it would serve is if you want... I guess if you want to exit the church to come down here to the these ruins. But why would you? Yes. Oh no, about your friends. I just wanted to look at the blue flowers. That ain't happening. It's also weird we're seeing these giant guys here. Because we only find these in Caelid, and I think there's the one in Mountaintops in that catacomb. It's like, why here? Caelid makes sense. Caelid has lots of giant fauna. And you can also argue with Mountaintops because, well, the giants brought a lot of that giant fauna with them up the mountain. But I have no idea why they'd be here. This is the part that confuses me. I guess you could make a case that they're down here because the top of the precipice ruins lead straight to Wyndham, and there were giants in Wyndham. Though I still don't know why they would bring these giant, oversized, poison vacuums. Doesn't make much sense to me. Let's get barbaric. Whoop. Oh, that was awkward. Now, Barbaric Roar would make sense because barbarians live on the mountaintops, and it probably flowed down through the waterfall, right? So, like, that I can believe. But these guys? I don't know. I'm not as convinced. Maybe they died during the journey and carried the corpses with them. That's true. That's true. Some may die mid-journey and they have to bring the bodies, right? We brought up that idea with the Second Church of America too, right? With the idea that, okay, so America sets up the church during the Age of Plenty to share the blessing with people across the plateau, right? But as a result of that, some might inevitably die before they can get cured by the glory of the golden amber, right? So they get buried there. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that could definitely be possible. That would explain it. And again, it goes to the point of, oh, when you begin the journey versus when you end the journey, you might lose some people along the way. Yeah, you know what, Xavier, that's a really good connection point there. I didn't even think of that. So yeah, I think that makes sense. We start at Bellum High. We start the Bellum Church, the first church of Radigan. That's very important to this thing. And then we fall through all the way down to the last church that's relevant for Radigan before he becomes Elden Ring. It all ties together. Okay. Can I look at these flowers? Ah! No, I can't. No, I can't. Help me, Chad. Help me. Are we done? Are we done bullying Loki? These just look like generic flowers recolored blue now. Yeah, like John said, this bottom entrance to the Bellum Church is weird. It serves no purpose except to connect to the mine. Or the ruins. Neither of which are useful as far as the Lyrian War is concerned, or the post-war period. Doesn't even really help if we try to go with the idea that it's somehow related to the Golden Order fundamentalism. Is the church where you fight, where Vike invades, a Radigan church or America church, chat? I can't remember. I'd assume Radigan, but like that would be my gut assumption, but generic yellow flowers here. Lunar. Yeah, again, so much filler, chat. Really isn't that much. Oh. Who gave you access to you? Oh. Yeah, the problem with these tank things is we don't find any of them in the mountaintops with the Flame Guardians like you'd think. So I have to like scratch my head and be like, are they something that the Flame Guardians created, or is it something that like was like more generically done? Like, they seem to be everywhere. Yep. Well, darn. So close. The Church of Inhibition is America Church with the golden flower localized to the dew. Okay. America Church, huh? That's interesting, because Radigan was probably there as well, but they're telling us that America was present. It could be possible that America was there, especially when the negotiations for the war. Actually, that would make sense, because then Radigan fights Renala, then he goes back to America, or whatever, right? And they have to have a talk about the whole marriage thing. So yeah, that would actually make sense if America was staying at that, at the village while Radigan went out to fight. Okay, yeah, let's move on. That's convenient. Thanks, suckers. Listen, I can keep resurrecting until we do this. I don't think you can get away with any of it, you guys. I'm gonna get that item if it's the last thing I do. For no other reason than because I don't remember what's in there. A great mace. Also what? Generic item. No wonder I don't remember. Well, we're not getting to that village with this character. So if there are any important items there, I'm gonna pretend they don't exist. Yeah, I have Sauron, don't come after me. I still need to understand why there are unique flowers around the stone trees and snowfield that are the same shape as the big gold flowers. Like, if they're red, my first thought would go to the Crucible. But, like, yeah, I don't see much Crucible connection to be had with those trees, because they tend to grow around where the water flows from the rivers. Dragon Wound Peace. Crystal Buds. Okay, so nothing here. The giants are made in the image of fire giants. Don't the fire monks usually have stuff made in the image of the fell god? Yes, I recall there's the fell god shield. There's also the fire giant shield, which we find in the ruins of Keelam. But that's the area with a bunch of the fire tanks, which are burning everybody. So it's quite possible that that shield is just there because the tanks are there. It's also guarded by, the room is guarded by two mad gladiators. So it's like, okay. Probably we're using the village as a rest stop. This grave here. Yeah. It's just a lone grave, and the dude who's dead in front of it has these ashes of war. I guess the guy got swarmed after killing a few. Which ain't that pathetic. Getting swarmed by these things. Like, those one-off graves are one of those things where I don't try to come up with a story there, because I'm sure it was just some random dev who was like, ooh, I'd like to create my own little kind of vignette. Probably doesn't have a lot of evidence to back up the specifics. The armor has Fell God on it too, right? I think so, yes. I want to say that. So yeah, maybe the tanks are something separate. We do see the tanks with the flame monks though in both here in Liurnia, like up here on the tableland, and also at Fort Lyde. But again, is that because their interests aligned between the tank people and the Flame Guardians, or is it because the Flame Guardians invented them? Weird. Any reason you're just standing around? Like that creepy. They're just staring at that divine bridge, huh? They want to get up there. Is that why we find sanctuary stones and, what are the other ones called? Do we even have them? Here we go. Yeah, and ruin fragments. Is that why those are up there? Because these are the guys that we find collecting those things at the ruins and all that. Tarnished golden sunflower. I want to double check something. Large flower that blooms face the earth tree. Materials used found near minor earth trees, though wilted and faded, retain fully essence. Yeah. Crystal wood. Yeah, these flowers look like the generic blue flowers we saw earlier, except now they're glowing. Like, really, really glowing. And you have the dirt road here that would lead you to the village. But it stops. Yeah, so these guys are staring, looking for a way up to that bridge. Those flowers are see-through. That they are. Actually, I don't know if they're translucent. I think it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes, at some angles, they kind of look like they do. But they look solid here. Magic glue. Maybe you could check the wells on your other save since you were talking about doing that. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's quickly go over because I've checked most of what I want here. I still don't know why the rune fragments and stuff are on that bridge, that Liurnia bridge specifically. They're not, because they're not in the Limgrave bridge, and I don't think they're on the bridge to Altus. Oh, you were too close, I think. Yeah, maybe that's it. Alright, buddy. Also, recently, chat, I've been thinking. Now, this creates a little bit of a problem in my mouth because I still don't know. Like, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I don't know how you're supposed to properly get into this tower. Because we get through a window, essentially, right? By climbing up to a window. But if we ignore my thought, which was originally trying to connect somehow this tower to Farum Azula, and we just kind of focus on the general pattern of these towers being built at the edges of the land, not in the middle of it, then I think Farum Azula would be like this. It would just, like, the cutoff point would be around here. Now, there's still some problems there, because you got the flying buttresses here that go all the way down to the water, but again, that could just be an oversight by the devs, because they were designing these areas separately, obviously Farum Azula from this, and they weren't thinking about how Farum Azula realistically connects together. Like, I don't think we have a road that connects, like, yeah, there's no road, I don't think, for all this. That's why I was really trying to push to find... there's a Dragon Barrel fork here, but does that count? I don't know. And then we'll check the wells. What are your thoughts on Beastmen? Well, BG, I generally consider the Beastmen to be evolutions on dragons, so kind of like similar, if you've read Abyssal Archive in Dark Souls, kind of similar idea of you get ancient dragons to lesser dragons, then eventually something that's undragon-like, they become more like beasts, and then eventually those beasts would become like, you know, variety of species and stuff like that. I don't know where like, say, insects or stuff will fall on that umbrella, especially considering we can see, like, seemingly butterflies and stuff that can spawn from matter, like the flame butterflies and all that. But I would also like to point out that I believe that the birth of the human race is separate from the beastmen and stuff. I don't think it's like, oh, we were beasts and then we became men. No, I think it was a matter of Numens and dragons procreating, and the more those Numen dragon crossbreeds, which became the dragon men, were bred with other Numen and each other and stuff. We got like all the variety of human races that we see, and I think the demi-humans, I've looked into this recently, is I'm thinking possibly the demi-humans are the result of these early humans, instead of them mating with the Numen, and I guess maybe dragons for the dragon men and stuff like that. So instead of these human races mating with dragons and Numen, instead it's the result of them mating with beastmen. So beastmen plus human gets you demi-human, I think. Which explains why demi-humans are so prevalent across everywhere. I don't know if they were kicked out of Farm Azula or whatever, or they chose to leave, but the idea is that they would, much like how human cultures, we see a bunch of pagans and barbarians living all across the lands. We see the same thing with the demi-humans, where they all live in these tribal culture stuff, so they leave the civilization of Farm Azula. Okay, so there looked like there was a road here. But yeah, no, it doesn't exist. It's just this. Yes, I don't know. This just connects back to here. Yeah, like I don't know how Farm Azula was supposed to connect to this temple here. Could Malekith be a beastman too? He's connected to them somehow. He's a vassal beast. So him and Blythe seem to possibly be creations of the Greater Will. I guess you could also lump Sarash under that umbrella too, because we don't know yet. We don't have anything on whether Sarash is another vassal beast created to serve Plaki's god. Which might explain a few things about our line frame. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to beastmen and stuff and how they fit into the larger family tree of this universe. Obviously gotta work through a lot of kinks and stuff, a lot of questions that remain unanswered in that situation, but yeah, I'm getting there. I've also been thinking about, yeah, okay, good, dragon's done. I've also been thinking about Plaki's god. There we go. I've also been thinking about Plaki's god in general, like who killed her and stuff. What happened to her body and things like that, assuming that something did happen to it. If, you know, we have her grave, presumably, with the 3 fingers and stuff. But it's like, okay, so has her grave been desecrated at all beyond just having fingerprints placed on the headstone, or that's a crystal blood, right? Yeah. So Xavier, is it the bottom of the wells or the top of the wells that have the flowers? Out of curiosity. We see blue flowers, plus these random stock things. Just look like they might be yellow, or at least a beige. But yeah, now I don't think we could consider Malekith, like they're beast and they're kind of like beast men, at least like Malekith and Blythe. But I don't think it's a matter of, oh, they're naturally born beast men. It seems, because there's this big emphasis put on, like, say, Ronnie receiving Blythe from the 2 fingers and things like that. So it seems to be kind of like they create. If I had to guess, assuming Sarash is the first vassal beast and stuff, we get creatures which are like the. We get creatures which are like the Beastmen, because the Beastmen came to serve Plaki's god, and the whole thing was like, okay, maybe to help bridge the gap between them, you would create Sarash, this really wise king of the beasts, who could be able to help guide them to civilization and civility, maybe. Maybe that was the idea with the Greater Will and granting them intelligence. Okay, bottom segments, gotcha. So we just gotta go down and we should see it. I don't see any torches on that one. We'll try another round back up. I'll look the other way. but it looked pretty clean there. No torches whatsoever. Kind of hard to tell with that. Yeah, it just kind of looks like generic dust particles. Which I'm okay with. Oh, there are human bones here. Yikes. Got lots of human bones here. And bones with rot in them. So yeah, some of the rot stuff has gotten down here. But apparently not enough to pollute the waters. At least not yet. So yeah, it looks like this is all stuff that followed downstream. So it's not like, oh, people came down here. I guess these are the ancestral followers who didn't make it, huh, chat? That one poor ancestral follower all by his lonesome. Well, we know what happened to his brethren. Their petals, I checked. I have a video showing their petals. Oh, cool. Alright, let's go back. Ah, my hand's asleep, chat. Help. My arm is asleep. This is awful! This feels awful, chat. Please. Spare me. Come on, blood flow. I know you can feel it. I wonder if we see any other wells with this generic walling ruin stuff. Yeah, no, I don't see any single torch. Have we checked this? Did you check this river well? There are glowing blue mushrooms in the starting area of this place. Again, connected to sorcery, I'm not too surprised. Huh. Normal torches here. Huh. What would be a good place to compare this to? The sluice gate, probably. God, it's so bright! My eyes! Yeah, no, nothing here. Yeah, now the torches are normal. Normal blue torches in Nox area. So it definitely gives the impression that someone from above ground. Okay, yeah, we see the same things by the entrance here, so these stones are. But it definitely gives the impression that someone from above ground's coming down here. And not necessarily sorcerers. It can't be to jump the coffins, because we already know the coffins all come from deep root depths, and they flow from here all the way here and through here. Same thing here, I think. Yeah, no coffins make it through the sluice. I already told you the corpses in the ant tunnels have the similar golden looking flies as the Haley tree candles, right? Yeah, I do vaguely recall you mentioning that. Let's check the downstream right now, because if I remember right. No, the flies are a bit harder to say, because they're so small. Might just be copy pasting because they need flies. I want to see if we have flying flies anywhere else, just to be absolutely sure, see if there's actually some contrast. Because here's my thought, Xavier. Assuming that these flies are unique for these corpses down here, and the Haley tree. Well, the Haley tree we already know, because the Haley tree is kind of like a secondary Earth tree, so there might be something to it there. Oh. You know what? There we go. Save me the trouble. If they're unique to only there, and any other else with flies has like normal colored flies, this may be a hint that these bodies belong to the deep root depths, because the deep root depths Nox live so close to the Erd tree, so they may be affected by some of the gold. This sort of goes to my theory I've had that I think the Nox might generally have more lighter skin at the Nameless Eternal City compared to their Nocron and Noxtella brethren. Now we know Radigan has like a light gray skin, which might have been part of that idea, because like, you know, generally Newman have like a dark gray skin, the Nox have like a almost really dark gray skin, like almost black, like a charcoal black. And then you have Marika, who looks basically human, like she has a golden like an almost like golden olive skin, which we see reflected in the Sacred Relic Sword, because the Sacred Relic Sword looks like it's a stitching of Radigan's light gray and Marika's gold, right? So you stitch them together, and you have the body of God turned into a sword, right? This makes me wonder about the Finger Slayer blade, going back to my point I was wondering about the Plaki's God, and like how and why she died. What if the Finger Slayer blade is her corpse? Which is interesting, because the Finger Slayer blade is a dark, like a black, again, much like the Nox in color. Which again, sort of like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, that thought's been going through my mind. But it could also be possible the Finger Slayer blade is just taken from any random Nox. Who knows, maybe they were one of their prospective Night Lords was used. I don't know, is trying to figure out is like, why would the body of a god be able to kill the two fingers? Not entirely sure. Gold stuff leads to gold flies. Yeah, that would be the idea. Again, that's why I would say if there are flies anywhere else in the world, I would love to know so we could complete our data set. And then we could be like, okay, is there anything that could prove this falsifiable? Like, I don't know, we go to Langdell and there's like some flies in, I don't know, like a lane, I don't know, like let's take the lower quarter. Let's go to the lower quarter real quick. I feel like we constantly go back here. But yeah, let's check the lower quarter real quick. Also, I thought about the Albinorics being, you know, the crazy mad Albinoric dumpling boys that we got here. Alright, I can't use torrent period. I've been thinking about them and why they're here. And I'll be honest, I don't think they're the Albinorics brought by, I don't think these are Albinorics that were brought by, like Rykard or Ronnie or Radon or anything like that. I think these Albinorics, these old men Albinorics, so first generation, consistently, are here in the sewers, and the lower quarter, especially the destroyed portion of the lower quarter, where Grand Sax's attack happened, because I think, they were brought with the Nox when they came to settle up here. So you have some Nox with their Albinorics. They bring their Albinoric servants with them. But now that they've converted to the way of the Erd Tree, as shown by the flower-topped graves here, now their Albinoric servants / slaves, they don't respect because, again, they exist outside the Order. And again, with how much they seem to be desperate to kind of show their allegiance to America and stuff. Again, see those who live in death. Even in death, they're doing this. It seems to me that they probably are the ones who tortured them, you know, put the black things on, drove them insane, all that stuff. All that jazz. Yes, I don't think there are any flies here, but, like, this would be a good example of, like, oh, if there were, like, flies, like, above these corpses or something, maybe we could confirm, or see if it's like, okay, these guys you'd expect might have, the flies be gold, but again, like I said, there's no flies here seemingly, so just an example. The Erd Tree grows from underground, right? Like it was planted there instead of the surface. Again, I said before that I believe the Erd Tree is a result of Placky's god dying, and when she dies, similar to how when we die, we leave behind runes which start sprouting a tree. When Placky's god died, she left behind the Elden Ring, essentially a collection of great runes, right? That therefore spawned a great tree, right? So, okay, runes, tree. Great runes, great tree. Sounds logical. We also know the Erd Tree is at the source of the, the Elden Ring is at the source of the Erd Tree, because that is literally what it said in the website prologue for the game. Literally says at least the Japanese version says that the Elden Ring, which is the source of the Erd Tree, it has broken or was broken. And then obviously, you know, the Neidhardt pieces, blah 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 blah, you know the rest, right? Nothing important there, but that's the relevant detail. Anyway, so yes, I think like crazy Albinorics are just a result of either them escaping into the sewers to get away from their masters who are torturing them, or those that are in the destroyed parts of the lower corridor. After Grand Sax's attack and those Nox left, they left behind their servants because who cares? They're not part of the Order or anything. Who cares if we... Why should we go and try to find our slaves? Hello? So did she die underground? That would be the presumption, because again, that's where we seem to get the fingerprint shield, as I said previously. I believe to be when it says like, oh, it's the grave of an old, it's the piece of a grave of an old god. That old god, I believe, is Placky's god. I don't think it's an outer god. I don't see much evidence or belief on why it would be an outer god. And we know that it's a grave that the Three Fingers feels comfortable desecrating by placing its fingerprints. And like, what would be more perfect than literally the god of the last god of the greater will, right? Like, oh hey, the god of the greater will is dead, and I'm desecrating her grave. Take that greater will in your order. Chaos is coming, right? I will use you to spread the message of chaos. You can definitely see sort of the cruel irony that the outer god of chaos would want to be spreading with that message. So yeah, I think the Plaki's god makes the most sense. So she dies, seemingly underground. She leaves behind the great runes, and therefore the Erd Tree starts sprouting. Now, the roots start spreading across the whole lands between. Again, we don't know what that process exactly was like, but it seems to be basically that the Altus Plateau was forever changed. So that way it starts having gold. That's where we get like Altus Blooms and stuff, because we know all that gold power existed before the quote-unquote Erd Tree appeared. And I believe that's because the roots of the Erd Tree were spreading, but the actual tree hadn't broken the surface yet, right? It's still like a seed. The Elden Ring was just the seed with which the roots are growing, and like the stem and stuff was slowly, the trunk was slowly heading above ground, I believe. Radahn has dark skin as well, right? I want to say yes. He's portrayed as pretty, like, normal-skinned in, like, portraits and stuff. So it could be artistic license, the dark skinning stuff. Because I think we only see it in the story trailer, which obviously just copies his in-game model. And, for his Melania fight. And, of course, when we fight him in the boss battle. So it could be a result of, like, the Scarlet Rod and stuff. I hope I would be able to pierce through that. Yeah, okay, let's check out back over here again. Alright, so where's that sword monument? White flowers, huh? Yeah, so all this gold in the rocks and stuff, I believe, started just by the fact that the Erd Tree is concentrated here. I think that's also why the Sun Capital was founded there, because they at least understood. I don't think, because again, there was no Erd Tree then. But I think they understood that's where the gold was concentrating at its strongest. So like, okay, let's have our capital settled here. And again, I think this has to do with, the Banished Knights from Far Missoula trying to understand where the hell Plaki's god is. Again, this could be an alternate explanation for why Sorosh is there, that he wasn't sent with the Banished Knights to help look for her, but like he was with her when she died or whatever. Who knows? Again, assuming that the Nox didn't kill her and used her corpse to create the Finger Slayer blade and slay the two fingers. Maybe Sorosh did it because for whatever reason she betrayed the Greater Will and so had to be killed. I still don't think so though. There's still the whole, again, the thing with the Finger Slayer blade is a bit weird, because there's talk about how it symbolizes the destruction. And for those that don't know, the destruction used when we talk about the Nox going underground, it's a word like, it means like, so instead of like saying banish underground, it means like they were destroyed to underground. But keep in mind, the term being used to destroyed is describing the people of the Nox. So it's talking about a people group being annihilated, wiped out. So the idea is that they are basically being killed to the point that they go underground to survive because so many more of them on the surface have been, like, you know, annihilated. They're gonzo. First defensive lane Dell. So did the first defensive lane Dell happen here? That could explain. That would explain the massive graveyard as well, possibly. Because the second defensive lane Dell, we're not expecting any graveyards for that, because, well, the battlefield is still fresh, right? Even though it's been a while, at least a pretty decent amount of time, because obviously Tarnished have been showing up and going to lane Dell since Mulaney and Radon had their fight, right? Because that's when the Greater Will abandoned the demigods. After that point, it's like, okay, well, nothing's going to work out here. So, we have to at least believe that, basically none of the cleanup for the second defensive lane Dell and the shattering has been done, so... Yeah, this could be the graveyard for that, instead of what we were saying earlier. And that would explain why it's so extensive. Because there's no way this is, we know for sure that there's no way that this church was built, this is the Second Church of America. There's no way this was done... America is still alive as we, and, you know, not imprisoned. That's not a thing. That's ancient. Out of curiosity, my friend. Kind of curious, is there a crest on your back by any chance? I guess I got my answer. Yeah, we get it. You're turning into an elf. Or you already are. Here in the Storm Church are the only ones with the golden vines. Could be because they're on Altus. What are all the churches that are on here, actually? Church here. No church over here. There's the Stormcaller Church. There's the Minor Erdtree Church. Then there's the churches within the cities. It could be because it's on the plateau, then. And these are literally the only locations that have these golden vines. My bet would be because it's on the plateau. And again, goes to the point of the Erdtree having an effect on the land and the floor. This goes far, huh? Wasn't there something someone said about this location with the Guardians or something? Am I forgetting? I am Xavier, somebody? Anything ring a bell there? Oh, what are the... Yeah, who are the... What about this? Oh, now this is interesting. This is plain. Like what we were seeing with the Banished Knights and the Omen stuff. This isn't a Lane Dell camp. I don't know what item was in here, though. But these are Lane Dell's foot soldiers, right? Yeah, I'm not crazy. These are Lane Dell foot soldiers. they have the gilded cats. Did they take over this camp? We don't see sign of Banished Knights in the ground like we did with the Mr. Goddess. Yeah, this is where the Ulcerate Tree Spirit drops, right? But that one, that's not important, because the Ulcerate Tree Spirit just tells us that, oh yeah, Erdtree's not doing too hot, so it has a Tree Spirit dropping down, similar to how in Lanedale there's another Tree Spirit that appears from the ground, right? So all that tells us is that, Erdtree's not doing too hot. I'm concerned about who was actually in this camp before the Ulcerate Tree Spirit wrecked things. We have Lanedale soldiers camping. Ah. That's about it. I wonder, again, if I knew what was in that that coffin, I might have an answer. This makes me think that they went rogue. Oh, the Guardians drop golden centipedes. Okay, yeah. That's what you were saying. Don't know why these guys are here randomly in the field unless there's a golem. We don't see a body though for it, but there could be the idea of a golem and they broke free. I think it depends. Where do we find like random slugs out in the open? By the Flame Guardians. Here. I think there's a few on the mountaintops, right? Like, I think there's one area where there's just random fire slugs, right? Or is it the snowfields? Yeah, we have the moat. The broken camps in the battlefield are gray as well. Is that so? Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Where is it? Where are the camps? I think it's up here. Yeah, they're not here. Ah, damn it, we're about to get nighttime. I don't need nighttime right now. What I need is sleep. Alright, so Stormveil banner. Oh. Oh my god. Are you done? Are you done looting the battlefield? The Stormveil banner. Great tents. Oh my god, there's another burial ground here. Chat, I missed one. Oh. Alright, we gotta figure this out, chat. Is there any graveyard where I could be like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? These. I'll do you a solid. Save me some space. I missed a graveyard, chat. Oh, when were you made? Were you made for second defense of Langdell? Was I wrong when I was talking about graves of when first defense and second defense of Langdell? Has enough time passed that you all bury some of the victims of this battle here? Or are you a separate battle that Godfrey had during his takeover the plateau? Because we have the graves here, and you got the graves here. Ugh! Ugh! Also mention about those 3 minor Erd trees having the only yellow gold trees depicted on the map. Yeah, not gold tree. Regular tree. Regular tree. But it has surrounded by gold trees. Gold trees surrounding regular tree. Regular tree. Regular tree. Regular tree. Gold trees. Yeah. So those with special plants, you say? So there's something particularly special about those 3 locations for some reason. Anyway, this now confuses me. Is there a scarab or something up here? Something to help us maybe have a clue? Stormcaller? Yeah. I don't know, Chad. I think this is where we call it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything like... I'm glad I found that graveyard, because now that's going to have to factor into all my analyses going forward, but... It's not related to this stuff. So first defense of Langdell maybe occurs here. Could also occur back here. And it's just buried by the church. I'm trying to think. Monuments that happen in the vicinity of their battles. Here. Here. Here just tells you everything is here. There's one here. Could be behind here by the road. Here-ish. Again, it could be something that has to do with a battle along the road. Second defensive Langdell is here, I think. Right? You can also check out the flowers, Zoom flowers, and the gray flowers in the Church of Dragon community if you want. Yeah, but I'm just really tired right now, Xavier. So I think like all the stuff I really wanted to look at, I looked at. So I think we check more of the flower stuff another time. But yeah, we should check out the gray flowers, see if we can compare them to other places if we can find. So Parmazula flowers is really interesting to me as well. Yeah, here it is. Right, so you have a sword monument painting this way, but all the battle took place here. So, could definitely be the same case here, where the battle took place around the Second Church of America. But I'll be honest, that seems too limited to me. Also, the Everjail is right over here, so I'm thinking it was more so a lot near this road. So you have Godfroy and his army come up the Dectus lift, and they try to make a cross to assault the ramparts here. They all fail and die, and so they get buried at the Second Church of America. Because I assume the idea is that the main conflict was here. Okay, I hope my notes were of interest. They were very much, Xavier. I cannot stop singing your praises for that. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm gonna end this here. This has been a longer stream than I was expecting, but we ended up finding a lot of interesting stuff. We're gonna have to find more. Anyway, talk to you next time. Bye-bye.